six feet above, so, you know, you gotta.
Damn.
Larry.
Oh, just the lower stuff. It's a little out of whack. I don't know why.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was that. Okay. I didn't know anything about it, and then Debbie told me today, and I was like, oh, okay. Thanks for
They can tell us to do before, but
it expires. Yeah.
I remember that.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
That's when he saw the
Having the appointed time of 5:30 arrive, I would like to call the Tuesday, March 10th, 2026 Committee of the Whole to order. Would you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Mr. Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Alderman Cox.
Here.
Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman Rockford.
Here.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Here.
Alderwoman Natriano.
Here.
Alderman Carlson.
Here.
Alderwoman Conley.
Present.
Alderman Donlin.
Here.
Alderman Hanauer.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. I would accept a motion for the approval of the February 24th, 2026 Committee of the Whole meetings.
So move, Chair.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Madam Treasurer, since this is the first committee meeting of the month, would you like to do a treasurer's report?
Thank you, Chair. The Treasurer's Report for the Corporate Fund for the month of February. The beginning balance is $62,021,384. We took in total receipts of $14,823,263. Total disbursements of $13,810,165, which left the corporate fund ending balance in the month of February at $63,034,481. The ending general fund balance included $3,229,089, which is the ending ARPA balance for February. That concludes my report. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept the Treasurer's Report as read.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the treasurer's report? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. There's no presentation. No present. Thank you, sir. Next, we have the ordinance tabled or remaining in committee. Mr. Clerk?
Ordinances remaining in committee is 2026-078.
Any action on those? All right, moving right along.
Ordinances for committee consideration. CWLP 2026-095 is an ordinance accepting bids and authorizing the execution of a contract UW 26-12-54 water main installation for the 2026 for installation 2026 with Petersburg Plumbing and Excavating LLC and E.L. Pruitt Company for the 18-month term in the amount not to exceed $1,636,091 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Move for consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-196 is an ordinance accepting bids and authorizing the execution of a contract UW 26-1255 water main gate and tapping valves with Core and Main LP and the Illinois Meter, Inc. for a one-year term in the amount not to exceed $627,785 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Move consent.
Been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, thank you, sir. Go ahead, clerk.
2026-097 is an ordinance accepting bid and authorizing the execution of contract UW 26-12-57 ductile iron pipe with Illinois Meter, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $2,451 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Motion for consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-098 is an ordinance accepting bids and authorizing execution of contract UW 26-01-58 residential water service materials with Midwest Meter, Inc., Illinois Meter, Inc., and Schulte Supply, Inc., in a total amount not to exceed, in a total amount of $605,557.20 for the Water Distribution Office of Public Utilities.
Move for consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-099 is an ordinance approving payment in the amount of $40,000 to the Sangamon County Soil and Water Conservation District for the Lake Springfield watershed for the fiscal year of 2027 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Second.
Moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-100 is an ordinance authorizing additional funding in the amount not to exceed $400,000 under contract number UE 22-01-78 with Roland Machinery Company for heavy equipment maintenance and the repairs at Dolman for the total amount not to exceed $2,050,000 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Move consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-101, an ordinance accepting bids and authorizing the purchase of 2 tow row afferent steam coils for the Unit 4 with Super Radiation Limited Partnership in the amount not to exceed $71,147 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Move for consent. Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-102 is an ordinance authorizing payment of membership dues to the American Public Power Association in the amount of $54,013.89 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Move consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-103 is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of high-voltage switch gears from ABB Inc., CO Premier Energy Products, formerly Rockman High Voltage Sales, in the amount not to exceed $301,152.46 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Chair, I make a motion to hold this in committee.
Do I have a second? It's been motion for hold and been seconded. Any discussion on this? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
This matter will be held.
2026-104 is an ordinance accepting bids and authorizing the execution of contract UW 26-12-56 iron water main fittings with Core and Main LP Illinois Meter Inc. and Schulte Supply Inc. and Taza in Style LLC in the total amount not to exceed $628,182.10 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Move consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's have it.
2026-105 is an ordinance authorizing payment to the Energy Authority, Inc. and the Mid-Continent Independent Systems Operator, Inc. for transmission schedule fees for the fiscal year 2027 in the amount of $6,100,000 for the Office of Public Utilities.
Move to consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Public Works, 2026-106 is an ordinance approving, denying the revised preliminary plan for Centennial Park Place for the Office of Public Works.
Move to approve to consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Is there any discussion on this matter? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
2026-107 is an ordinance regarding the various requests of Section 153-157J pertaining to not required stub streets between lots 69 and 70 for Centennial Park Place for the Office of Public Works.
Move to consent.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-108 is an ordinance regarding a variance request of Section 153-157L pertaining to restrictions of access to an arterial street in the Centennial Park Place for the Office of Public Works.
Move to consent.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-109 is an ordinance authorizing acceptance and execution of DCEO grant number 22-203773 from the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity in the amount of $385,000 to be used for the costs associated with reconstruction of Cockrell Lane from Ogden Road to south to Mathers Road for the Office of Public Works.
Move to consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
General City Business, 2026-110 an ordinance to increase the number of Class AA liquor licenses by one for the EA 629 Incorporated to DBA The Levy Springfield located at 629 East Adams.
Move to consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-111 is an ordinance authorizing payment to Cody Munson, a current City of Springfield Police Detective, for settlement of workers' compensation claim number 25-WC-0254944 in the amount not to exceed $30,567.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-112 is an ordinance authorizing execution of agreement with Campion, Barrow, and Associates for pre-employment psychology evaluations for the police and fire candidates, and authorizing payment in the amount not to exceed $50,000 from February 17, 2026 through February 17, 2028 for the Office of Human Resources.
Move to consent.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-113 is an ordinance authorizing execution of sub-reciprocal agreement number 23-203186 with the outlet to build community playground and outdoor wellness space located at 2108 East Laurel Streets, utilizing the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, DCEO, grant fund in the amount not to exceed $100,000 for the Springfield Police Department.
For consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. I will just say this is a fabulous project that's going to go on behind Johnson Park, an area that could use some toys and play in health and wellness. So thank you.
Vote.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
2026-114 is an ordinance authorizing contractual agreement, quote, number 2503-0371R1 with Tier 1 Group LLC providing training for 28 emergency response team officers, ERT, in the amount not to exceed $68,220 for the Springfield Police Department.
Move to consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
2026-115 is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of Lenco G3 Pro armored vehicle for emergency responses and SWAT operations for the Lenco Industries, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $445,060 for the Springfield Police Department.
Move for consent.
Second.
Motion
been-
for debate.
It's been moved and seconded for consent. Any discussion on this matter?
For debate?
All
Second.
right. It's moved for debate.
Yep.
Alderwoman Notarano.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So we talked a little bit, or I talked a little bit last week about the budget and alternative for this purchase. And with Alderwoman Purchase, yesterday, we were graciously allowed to tour and discuss the city's current Bearcat vehicle. So if Chief Beal is here, or
Please state your name for the record. No.
Sean Gregory. I'm sorry.
hi, good to see you again. Yeah.
Hi.
So, yeah, we had a pretty long, informative meeting about actually seeing the vehicle and talking about how it was used and where it was deployed, and also got to talk with Commander Maddox some more about the other options, which I wish that I would have heard more about before we saw this on the agenda, because my main concern was that we weren't exploring other options, and we were just deferring to this sort of large purchase. Not sort of large, $500,000. That's a big deal, a lot of money. So yeah, I understand now that our other options really aren't great, and it's unfortunate that we're not available for grant funding for this vehicle through the state. But I would also say that's sort of another thing for us all to think about. You know, if the state of Illinois hasn't deemed it necessary that the city of Springfield should get a grant for one of these, that is something I think we should consider. But I was really interested to hear a discussion about how a new one would help us increase protection of officers and the people who are coming into contact with the vehicle on the other side of that use of force. So if you would just like talk a little bit about how the vehicle is used to keep officers safe.
Yeah, I mean, it's, well, first of all, thank you very much for coming out yesterday. Thank you, Alderman Purchase, and then Alderman Cox today, I believe, stopped out. So thank you for that opportunity, and I apologize for my voice. I'm still trying to recoup from my sickness last week. But, yeah, I mean, it's used in a multitude of ways. I don't necessarily want to get down into the nuts and bolts of exactly what we do as far as SWAT operations, but the best way I can describe it is it puts a barrier, a bulletproof barrier in between us and what could be a threat. And it gives us an opportunity to buy time, to make assessments, and to do that effectively and efficiently without having to make a split-second decision behind something that's not going to stop rounds.
Sure, absolutely. And another thing that was really sort of set my mind at ease, made me feel much better about this, was seeing your matrix that you use. So there is actually a form, so to speak, that leadership fills out and decides, you know, is this situation, and it's case by case, every situation where it's proposed to be used is evaluated, whether or not it is going to be used or not. And I think whenever we have big purchases like this of a contentious piece of equipment that is you know, a lot of people in the community are coming into contact with and not feeling comfortable around, it would be important for us to approach it with that sort of transparency and say, like, let us know from right out the box, this is how we decide to use the vehicle, and you know, in as broad a terms as you can, and also, you know, these are the pluses and minuses. I think any kind of discussion like that with the community helps the community feel more comfortable with us making this purchase and using this piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And I think that I know this is something that is very guarded. So when did you start using, or when did the department start using the matrix?
The Matrix has been in use since I was on the team, and I got on the team in 2011, so it's been in use for some time.
Okay.
Here's what I'll say about that is, obviously, whenever we're making decisions on big purchases, whatever it might be, whether it's for the police department, CWLP, what have you, obviously being educated on exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it, and where we're going with that piece of equipment, right? And that's why yesterday, I'll echo what I said, is attending the Citizens Police Academy. That's a critical piece, right? When you attend the Citizens Police Academy, you learn about the Bearcat, the emergency response team, everything that it does. You learn about the mobile field force team and all the equipment that we have that goes along with that, and really every facet of the police department. And so that's why I think it's critically important for those in leadership roles have that knowledge on the front side, so we don't have an adversarial conversation up here over a piece of equipment that can easily have an easy, respectful conversation like we did yesterday, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I would just say that whether it be, you know, someone on council or someone in the public, they may not have an opportunity time-wise to attend the Citizens Police Academy, and there also may be a level, well, there's definitely a level of trust and comfort that's necessary. The Citizens Police Academy is on your quote-unquote turf, right?
Sure.
So let's take me, for example, or another member of the community who would be interested, would have to have that level of comfort, right? To say, you know, I feel like this experience is going to be valuable, and I'm going to get out of it what I need to get out of it. And basically, you know, not thinking like, oh, it's going to be a one-way street where we just tell you like it is, and
Sure.
and that's all there is to it. But I would say I would really like to see the department think of ways to sort of distill that information and be able to come out into the community and have a back and forth with folks who don't feel comfortable going on SPD's quote-unquote turf. I think that could do a world of good, and it would be in line with the Massey Commission goals, which is another reason that I sort of decided to put this under the microscope. It's because, you know, in the report that was just released in December, the commission calls for major policies and major budget items to be approached from an equity and a justice lens. And so this is like a perfect opportunity to do that, and it's a perfect opportunity to have independent voices, community voices come and have a say on the matrix, and basically, you know, increase that transparency, increase the community buy-in, and just make sure that we are moving forward and advancing and paying attention to Massey Commission goals. And I'll give you an opportunity to say, you know, how you think this purchase fits in, or like if you have any plans regarding the Massey Commission goals that apply to the police department.
Well, there's a lot of conversations that had around the Massey Commission goals and what that looks like for the city. It's really, a lot of the goals really discuss countywide initiatives, and I think that's going to have to be a conversation between city and county, and what does that look like going forward. But I think you said it best already. You understand now that this Bearcat doesn't only make our police officers safe, but it makes our community a safer environment to live in, not only for our police officers, but for our citizens as well.
Sure. And thank you for saying that, because it reminds me, I don't know that I've ever seen the Bearcat come out with y'all when you do, like when you bring the e-bikes to community events or what have you. Is that a sort of thing?
It's the most requested piece of equipment we have for community engagement.
Okay, so you do bring it to National Night Out?
I have
things like
100 pictures I was going to bring to you and put them on display for you, but I figured we could cover that some other day. But
Yeah.
there's kids climbing all through it, putting the equipment on, testing it all out, getting in the driver's seat. They think it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, and I think that is invaluable for all members of the community, not
Absolutely.
just the kids. Of course, the kids enjoy it, but yeah, to you know, be familiar with the vehicle and know that it doesn't necessarily mean that things are about to get really dangerous in your
And
area.
We had it at our open house last year. Many members of the community, some that come here every week, walked through it, had a good conversation with some of our team members. We also had it at every event that we have down here, the Halloween touch a truck and stuff like that. We always have it down here. So
Yeah. And again, that's, you know, again, your turf. So thinking about, you know, bringing it to make sure we're doing the right thing. We're on the right track with the National Night Out, but making sure we're getting out in different parts of the community across the city. So yeah, I think I'm really pleased that we have this opportunity with this agenda item to focus more on let's take a look at the matrix and let's see how we can build in that independent oversight that the Massey Commission really is asking for from the Sheriff's Office and also from Springfield Police Department. I know that independent oversight can feel like, you know, it gets your defenses up, right? I think anybody who's like, hey, let me come in and look at your job and tell you how you're doing, can feel threatening, but I really think that we have to work through that and have those tough discussions, because that is how we're going to build familiarity and trust. And I see a lot of other people have signed up, so I'm going to stop talking right now. Thank you, Chair.
No problem, thank you. Alderman Williams.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Well, you know my stance on this. I don't like militarized police departments. I understand the need sometime. How often do you use it for its official purpose, not parades and showing off and events, but actually, how often do you use it?
It depends. You know, some years we run it up to 25 or 30 times a year. Other years, maybe, 12 or 15, 18 times a year. So it just depends. The Bearcat is not something that we just pull out proactively. It's something that we are using in service of a search warrant, or we're being called to a call for service where there's violence that leads to a higher propensity of somebody being injured or killed. So it's not like we're not out driving it around, patrolling cars or patrolling the streets or anything like that.
Okay, so you are aware that the county no longer has a armored vehicle, let's say it like that.
Yeah, and that would lead me to believe that we need one even more because we don't have one readily available.
Well, do you know why they don't have one?
No.
Well, it was because the public, the pushback from people saying we don't want militarized vehicles on our roads. And that's why, and they were actually given one. My concern here today really has to do with the budget. So you have priorities, spending priorities, I'll say, in this new budget that just passed, correct? And would this be the number one priority?
It's pretty high priority considering it saves lives not only of our police officers but our civilians as well.
Well, I'm asking, is it the number one priority since you're starting off with this one?
It became a priority 2 Thursdays ago when we went to get it and use it, and it wouldn't start, so it was needed right then and there, so it was an immediate priority at that time.
Okay, so let me ask it a different way then. So if it didn't pass, if you didn't get it, what would happen to the police department?
Well, we'd be in a world of hurt if one of our loved ones was in a house where we had a barricaded gunman and those people were hostages because there's nobody coming to save us. This Bearcat is not a unicorn. There's other jurisdictions around us have it. Decatur has a Bearcat. The state police has a Bearcat. They have a bear as well. It's not like an anomaly that we are just asking for something that other jurisdictions don't have. Time is of the essence on these particular call-outs. When you have a hostage or a hostage barricade or a barricaded gunman, we can't wait and call for somebody. The idea is you get in between the bad guy and the good guy. The goal of SWAT, your first day of SWAT when you walk into class, is to save lives. That's the number one goal, and that is what that Bearcat does.
I appreciate that, and I agree with you, actually. So in saying that, so since this is such a priority and a need, so are you at least willing to give up some of the other asks that's in this budget that we passed that you may seem to think is high as well? Because we are in a crunch. That is an awful steep price. So I have so many areas where I have trouble with this, not just on the surface of what I told you about militarizing the police force and the bad look and going against the grain of what the community really feels, not even considering what the Massey Commission has now recommended and started pushing, but we're going to go against the grain anyway. It looks like you have the votes. What else? What are you going to give up to help our city, possibly get through this financial crisis that we're in?
Our biggest budget line is our personnel lines. It is a vast majority of our budget, of our $70-some million budget.
I
So
agree.
the other big budget line is our cars. So if we got to have cars to respond to calls for service. We went through a situation in the last few years where CO2 is an issue with cars, and officers getting sick from CO2, which is a liability. So we can start cutting things, but at that point, are we going to cut personnel, or are we going to cut cars? What are we going to cut? And then we're cutting into public safety.
Well, this council has given you the green light. We passed the budget, so we're behind that question. My question to you as a professional police chief and a team player, I hope there's other departments that got big requests coming. There's other things. I was told, well, okay, instead of the amendment process, what we're going to do is deal with it as it comes up. Well, I'm dealing with it as it comes up, and I'm asking you, since you're going to get your Bearcat, are you willing and wanting to be a team member and give up something else that's costly?
Well, I'd love to
because I think each department should do this.
Sure. I'd love to sit down with you and have a discussion about exactly what you're thinking you would like us to give up, and where can we cut and what can be cut out.
So as chief, you don't know what else to cut. You want everything that passed, is what you're telling me.
We came with a 2.3% increase in our budget. That was very lean, leaner than most budgets.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Chair. Chief, I'm going to try not to stress your voice too much. I appreciate you coming tonight.
All right.
I appreciate you staying home last week. I will point out, people who come to work sick make everyone else,
And my coworkers were happy with me.
right. You had an able person standing in for you. I also want to kind of touch on the budget of this because this is a big investment, and we're seeing that. The fire department is also asking us for investments. But as you pointed out, this is part of our critical infrastructure. And we're currently operating or trying to run a Bearcat that is, I believe, 20 years old. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So we're looking at a 15 to 20-year investment with this sticker. It is a high, I mean, this is more than I've ever paid for a vehicle,
Sure.
Excepting our fire departments. Thank you. Alderman Donilon read my mind. I was just about to ask if someone could get you some water. But as you pointed out, and I think we need to be really, you did propose a lean budget. And your staffing, the staffing of the police department is one of those areas that we get requests for all the time. I have yet to have anyone come to me and say, hey, please stop pulling people over for speeding. I'm okay with the red lights being run. I don't get that. What I'm getting is, where are our police departments? I've already mentioned this once, but I've got an NPO in Beat 700 who is engaged and active. My neighborhoods love that. They're seeing someone from the police department putting that frontline face, stopping some of the decline that we're seeing in our neighborhoods. I have a resident who has someone popping in and out of the vacant house next door to them. That's scary. I've been that single mom who doesn't want to have someone I don't know running in and out of a garage next door to my home. That's putting people at risk. You mentioned the CO2. We don't want our police officers, no offense to anybody, we don't want them at home or working remotely. We don't want them working behind a desk. We want them on the streets. And the only way for them to be safely on the streets is to be in functional vehicles. So I appreciate the conversation around this purchase. It is absolutely important that we have these conversations and that we have a full airing of the issues around something like this. But I also think we need to keep a certain sense of perspective of this is an investment in critical infrastructure. We're not going to be buying this next year. We're not going to be buying it hopefully in the next 10 to 15 years. But we do want to make sure that our officers, who we invest a lot in, it's not just salaries, it's their time, it's their training, it's equipment, it is safety equipment. This is part of those tools that we need one of our core departments to have to function properly. I will tell you, in my day job, I deal a lot of times with communities that have not been able to invest in critical infrastructure. And the catch-up is hard. And rebuilding from something is much more difficult than maintaining. It is a large purchase. I appreciate the concerns around that. But I also thank you for bringing this forward, for having these open conversations, again, for making this a unit that our community can see and be aware of, but also understand. I mean, our goal is to have this thing sit in the garage, right? I would love to see violence.
Absolutely.
And the need for this drop so dramatically that we can get 30 years out of it. That's absolutely fabulous. But we're not going to get there without investing in our frontline resource in the police department, which are your officers. And we're not going to get more officers if they don't see that we're also investing in safety and them having the appropriate tools to do their job. So again, I appreciate the conversation around this. I understand the concerns. Chief, I'm not going to ask you unless you need to say something.
No, I would just add in that at $445,000, our number one asset that we have is our personnel, the men and women that do this job every single day. At $445,000, if you pull that out at 20 years, that's roughly $22,000 such dollars a year. $22,000 a year is a small price to pay for the safety of the men and women that do this job every single day.
Thank you for doing the math. I was going to point that out also.
It's rough.
But it's rough, and again, I don't expect dollars and decimals, but absolutely. I've brought the car issue up for years now because I had an officer reach out to me and tell me that there were carbon monoxide readings in their workspace, in their cars. We've been steadily increasing our investment in this, and I think yes, we pay our officers well. We pay comparable to other communities. but we also need to make sure that they have their tools, because our residents feel safer when we have a well-trained, well-equipped police department that responds in an appropriate and timely manner. And so just want to put in my 2 cents. I understand the dollar amount of this, but I also just want to caution that we not nickel and dime something that is again, I'm hoping for 30 years because things drop off and we don't need to pull this out very
be
often.
great.
But 15 to 20 we'll work with. Thank you,
Thank you.
Chief.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chair.
No problem. Alderman Carlson.
Thank you, Chair.
It's been so long.
Follow up on a couple of my colleagues. Have you guys looked at, and I certainly don't want to slow up this process, have you looked at any Homeland Security grants? I did a bunch of independent research over the weekend on the Bearcat. and
So
it seemed-
what we have seen, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what we have seen is we go to seek a grant, and then the grantees would be like, hey, look, ILEA secures these grants, Illinois Law Enforcement Alarm System, which is a state agency. They secure these grants long before we can get our hands on them, and then they dole out the money or they buy the equipment for the teams across the state. So a lot of those grants that may be able to purchase that are already taken up by ILEAs.
Okay. I mean, the research I did, to me, I see it as, it's sort of a safety and rescue vehicle. I mean, there were, I'm not going to talk about the 20 different examples, most of them here in the Midwest, as far as, the Bearcat in really being proactive, having it on hand.
Sure.
And much, a lot of times the government, we're just reactive, and we just don't have the proper tools and being proactive. And for me, as far as the price and going through the budget, police, I mean, to me, I don't want to be responsible for putting a price tag on someone's life. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, not only the 115,000 people in the city of Springfield, but your officers as well. And I just don't want to head down that path and put a price tag, on that. And so I'm happy to vote for this, and thank you, Chair.
I don't know that we could put a price tag on it, but I would imagine it'd be a few more zeros than what that one has.
Well, exactly.
So, and I don't even want to think about that.
Thank you, gentlemen. Alderman Donlin?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Chief, I got to say, when the budget was first introduced, I saw this little nugget on the line item in the police budget and thought, we just found a way to find $500,000 and cut it out of the budget. But I got to say, the way you explained the utilization and need for this vehicle during the budget hearings is much appreciated, because you convinced me at that first hearing when you spoke about this, better understanding the utilization not only for the safety of the officers and the public, but for the healthcare providers that are involved at times under situations that are not very fun. And I just appreciate your patience with us and asking questions. It is a large expenditure. I remember when we received the first one years ago, and having similar questions in my head. And now that I happen to be an elected official, I can ask them out loud, but in this room. But I know you would rather not have a major expenditure come before us, but this is, as Alderwoman Conley explained, something that's going to last for quite a while. The utilization of it is for the betterment of the community. I trust your commitment to that, and just appreciate your patience with us and all the questions. So thank you.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Thank you, Alderman Donlin. Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chief. As my older sister said, we're giving us a tour yesterday. I think that it definitely brought a level of education and also learning things that a typical community person may not understand. And sometimes we can't explain a lot of things on the forefront because there's a reason that you have this. But I do want to ask a few transparency questions that I was going to ask, and I think you're fine with them. First, I have one more acknowledgement. What Alderman Donlin said, because me and Alderwoman Nutriano also shared that express too with the doctors that you bring in this vehicle to be out on the scene. I think that's really important to make sure that they're safe. And you had a touching story that you talked about with a retired state trooper or a current state trooper at the time.
Yeah, he's a current state trooper, yeah.
What happened to him, and then I brought what happened to Breonna Taylor. So there was two sides for us to see, and then you shared with us also the transparency of how this vehicle has made it all around the city of Springfield, and there was examples that I was able to bring up for both of us to understand too. So I think that level of education was good for us, and sharing to be active and go to the police academy too, so we can learn even more, because we could have been there for 3 hours last night with the questions both of us was asked, and we're pretty chatty. But the transparency question I want to ask is, when you get the new Bearcat, what will happen with the current one you have for the public to know?
Well, the current Bearcat, depending on if it's running, it'd be nice to keep it around for a second backup. It's just the case, for whatever reason, ours goes down. But if it's going to be something that's going to be a maintenance, issue, then we probably would, backline it.
Okay, and
But-
the reason I brought that up is because I know Lieutenant talked to us about how hard it is to get the tires that you have.
Sure, yeah.
And sometimes that may not work to our best interest neither. The second thing I told you that irritates me now is when we pass our budget to know when funds are being spent. And I ask, sometimes my colleagues laugh, but this past year, everybody was real serious and was asking some of the same questions that I asked, to get some type of report 2 to 3 times throughout the year to talk about where you're at within your budget. What have you spent? What did you not spend? And I think it was really eye-opening for all of us. It has nothing to do with you, but the Sangamon Growth Alliance.
Sure.
Not everybody knew that money wasn't spent. So if we can get some reports just throughout the year, not asking for every single time you spend, but this is a big, large item.
Sure.
And if it was talked about, we would have been able to say, okay, we know where you're coming from. The last thing is, I think the fire department, they have been pushing for doing a vehicle apparatus, I want to use the correct verbiage, apparatus every year, so that it doesn't come up to that time where you're trying to buy so many at a time. Can you also do a report that tells us where we are with our cars, our inventory of what you need to get rid of, what else you need to buy?
Yeah, I can speak to that just roughly. The 2015s have all been backlined, except for maybe just a handful that are personally assigned to folks, but most of them are out of the fleet, and we're 2020, 2017, 2018, and newer now. So, and as we continue to replace these through our plan that we've put forth in this budget, we should be able to start backlining some of those older cars to mitigate any of those CO2 issues, heavy maintenance issues, and stuff like that. So
That's why I'm asking, just for that reason.
Sure.
And also just tell us too, as a council, if, I know with the fire department, sometimes it takes almost 2+ years just to get that one vehicle that you voted on 3 years ago.
sure. Yeah, we're still waiting on cars
4
from last
years
year.
ago. Yes, so if you can just keep us updated with that too, it'll refresh our memory. It's a lot to process and take in when the budget time comes around, and you all are feeding us like a lot of information. And that's it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Alderman Cox.
Thank you, Chair. I'll keep this I'll keep this quick. Thank you both, Commander Maddox, Barksdale, and I think Ronnie Williams was out there. I appreciate the tour of the vehicle. I think I counted no less than 16 markings, I guess I'll call it, that kind of represent ricochets of bullets. None on the windshield, because I'm told that we have to replace the windshield anytime the windshield gets hit. So that's kind of scary to wonder how many we can't see, right? Officer safety, obviously, number one. Yeah, nobody wants to spend $500,000, but I'm not going to put a price on anybody's head. Let me ask you a quick question. ERT, is that volunteer?
It is volunteer, but it's a tested position.
I'm sorry?
It's volunteer, but it's a tested position.
Okay, and they get paid for their time and
They do.
what have you, but they're signing up for more than just what they originally walked in here and got sworn in. Now they're signing up for something more risk,
Correct.
correct?
Higher
And
risk.
nobody's signing up to get shot.
No, nobody signs up to get shot, whether you're a police officer, whether you're a
Exactly.
SWAT team member.
Yeah, okay, so I think it's the least we can do to make sure that the people that are putting themselves in these extra dangerous positions, that they are safe and as well taken care of as we possibly can. So thank you very much. That's all I have, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll say everybody talks. I'll just say real quickly that as a black man and as a representative of this minority ward, I understand completely the look at times. I will say that, one of my constituents called me not too long ago. I had to call Chief because her sons and his friends were shot from a house. They had to bring that thing, get behind it because he started shooting at them. And we could talk about what color. You'll be wrong if you try to guess it. And, you know, the mother, because her son and his friend got shot, we went in, got him, did what we needed to do. But that trauma is still living with her. She calls me, I put her in touch with Chief so he can talk with her about where they're at with this case and the justice that she wants for her son. You know, it's, and I don't say this because y'all don't know, but it is very real out here. It's not no joke. People got some real deal guns. I don't want our officers getting shot, and I don't want them to go in the house and kill them. We've had this thing for 20 years. And I could tell you, if it was something that I felt like was something so bad on this community and on black people, I wouldn't vote for it. I'd be throwing a fit for it right now. But it is serious out here. It's real. I just had a body drop on Edward Street. But guess what? It's not cool to say, maybe when I was younger it wasn't cool to say, but I want them to handle it. I'm tired of it. And if they got to take that and hide behind it and coax people out who've been shooting and all of this craziness that we got in our community, it is serious. This ordinance that we just passed for Mike and this ordinance that we about to just pass, it's about trying to reduce this violence we have in our community. It is so serious. And we have some tools, and this is a tool. If it was the bigger one, if it was what Jack had, I wouldn't vote for it. If it was a bear, I wouldn't vote for it. That's just my feelings on this. And I ask everyone to support this. Because I think about how far we've come, right? We had 18 black men, black women on the force when I came in. There's like 40 now. And they work out here. Them two gentlemen in the back, they're not black, but I know that I don't want to see nothing happen to them or my people on the streets. I'd rather come to a non-killing situation, and then we'll let the courts handle it. If they wrong, they wrong. If whatever, if we got it wrong, I've been there. I've been there. You talking to a guy that's been accused for having a gun charge for no reason. So I ain't never going to step out of line or take anybody's side. I'm going to always side on what's right. And at times, we do need this thing. If I felt like this was rolling all around my ward particularly, because that's where it's at most of the time, I'd say something about it. I'd be rolling around in the dirt. Y'all know it. So this particular item, I'm going to support it. I don't like the price tag like nobody else. I know where we at in the budget. I agree with you, Williams. And push come to shove, hopefully we can recover. But guess what? I'm always prepared to do what we need to do to continue to deliver services, no matter what that may be, besides raising taxes. So thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Call the vote.
All in favor for debate?
Aye.
Thank you.
2026-116 is an ordinance authorizing sub-reciprocal grant agreement number 23-203-186 with Solid Ground Solutions, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $50,000 for the Hoops and Hope Basketball League program funded through the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity for the Springfield Police Department.
Motion for consent.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Any unfinished business? Anybody? I will say, what's going on with the air in this joint?
A little bit warm tonight.
Anybody got an answer? Murdoch, you got something for us?
I don't know, but I'll look into it.
All right.
Heard of hot yoga, it's hot council, holy cow.
I did. Well, nobody has anything else. Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Chair. And I also want to get out of here because not just the air, but the weather. But I did get a request from constituent, and Mr. Murdoch, if you could just give a brief update on where we stand with the fines and penalties that are being levied against the owner of the Ballyvon property.
Sure,
And
so,
that's the greater property. So just so everyone understands, the guy who bought those apartments also bought the the old daycare, that beautiful building right across the street from the apartment. So when I say property, it's that larger property.
right, so we have 5 cases that are open against the combined properties, and those are being somewhat complicated by an agreed interim order that they have with the state of Illinois for asbestos abatement, and until the asbestos abatement is completely done, the city of Springfield kind of takes a backseat to the state as far as what we can do and what we can get in, and force them to abate. That being said, there are still violations there, so we're pursuing those to our administrative court. Fines are right now at $132,560 are the fines that have been levied against the case, and then as those violations, as they continue to rise, our inspectors go by, we cite them, we're continuing to bring them through our administrative process.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say, again, I want to thank, I don't know if Dave's here, but thank Public Works. I got another notice that there was openings in the fencing around there, and I feel like it's a revolving door for Public Works to be out there, but they're staying on it. So thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Any others? All right, new business. Anybody have new business?
Of course.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Chair. The St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Oh.
It is the annual, I think it's either 41st or 42nd. I think it's 42nd. And the kickoff for the parade starts at 12 noon. I am just asking for everyone to be safe. Everyone's families will be out there. Their children will be out there. Please help put your trash in the garbage can and not on the street. We have a lot of people who have to clean that up at the end of the night, and going into Monday for our streets to open. I'll already say thank you to Public Works, because I know they'll have a lot with the street sweepers to clean up, but please be safe, have fun, and follow the rules. There are some of our businesses that did not opt in to have alcohol sales outside, so please ensure that we're listening and following those rules if you're not supposed to walk outside with your alcohol. Thank you, and I hope to see all of y'all down there, too. You're going to be live from the 5.
Thank you, thank you. Any others with new business? Go ahead, Alderwoman. Kindly.
Sorry, Chair, just real quick, I just want to remind everybody, because I also need multiple reminders. Our meeting next week will be on Monday. Tuesday is the primary day, so I hope anyone who hasn't voted yet takes advantage of their civic duty and gets out and votes. And then the other thing that I want to make sure we all remember is that we have a five Tuesday month here, so the week after next week, we're not here. We'll be here the last Tuesday of the month. It's a weird month for us, so I just want to remind everybody. So thanks, Chair. We'll see you all on Monday.
No problem. Alderwoman Notriano.
Thank you, Chair. Almost forgot to remind everyone that the Ward 6 Community Connections event is happening in like next week. On Thursday, March 19th, from 5:30 to 7, that will be your opportunity to hear from the mayor and all of the agency heads, Public Works, SPD, CWLP. They're all going to be there to talk to you one-on-one. So this is definitely your chance to get some quality face time with me and the mayor and city leaders to talk about your issues and your vision and whatever else you want to talk about. It is at the Shields and Springfield Clinic Dome. So I can't remember the address right now, but if you take that first turn in to Shields from the city, you'll run right into it. And I hope to see you all there. Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Alderwoman Purchase.
Sorry, I forgot one other thing.
We got another parade?
No. But as you all know, this past Sunday was International Women's Day. And I just want to say to all women in this room and across the city and the nation, happy Women's History Month as well. It's just being thankful for every woman who leads, support, mentors, create, and lift others along the way. And on Sunday, I celebrated women in the community with roses just to tell them that they are appreciated. We matter. Our voices matter. And please, if you see a woman, say Happy Women's History Month.
Happy Women's History Month.
Happy Women's History Month.
I was gonna say, y'all can clap.
No, we like, yeah, man, we love the ladies now. All right, and seeing no new business, citizens request to address the committee.
Eric Dorr. Eric Dorr.
Not seeing no.
James Clancy.
Hello, all. Welcome, and I'm glad you brought up the St. Patrick's Day Parade. My name is James Clancy. I'm the president of the St. Patrick's Day Parade. This is going to be this Saturday, so I really appreciate you bringing it, so that's easy cut in for me. 12 noon, by the way. It is at 12 noon. What happens at 12 noon? Civil War Reenactment Group brings a mortar cannon to the 7th and Jefferson area, and they fire it off every year, so 911 gets their regular daily phone calls every year on that Saturday saying someone's trying to blow something up. So we always try to get pre-call and give them the prep that your phones are going to ring. So that's always interesting to hear. We have a big historic number this year of entrants. 121 entries will be this year. That will make up 2,400 people in the actual parade, estimated. And going along how we've been doing the last few years, we'll have about 22,000 people along those streets. That is a happy number to the businesses of downtown Springfield. When this first got started 42 years ago, 1984, I was in there. I've been a part of this parade from being in the parade, working my way up to volunteer, and finally, over the 42 years, I'm running it now, and I've been a part of everything. And this parade fit in the Horace Mann parking lot when it first got started. 23 people. You know, that's how it fit. And now we not only fit in that parking lot, but every street around that area. Our parade is 1 mile in length. It takes about half hour to go through that because we walk at parade's length. This year we're going to have half the parade is all new people. It's going to be a great thing to see because if you come to the parade, you go, oh, I always see that or I always see that. Well, this one's going to be a little bit different. Everybody's new, wants to come in from last year because it was so big last year. A lot of people saw it. Businesses said, I want to do that. And we had a new category of entry called the Just for Fun entry. Because there were people that said, well, I'm not a political person, I'm not a business, and I'm not this. What category do I fit in to be in the parade? I go, well, let's make one up. So there were friends that got together, and they said, we'll build a float, and we're just here because we want to be right there. So it's a great new category we have for just family, friends that want to be in the parade. We have so many people that need to be thanked. Our sponsors, and the very first one that sometimes we glance over is Horace Mann. All 42 years, giving up their parking lot across the street. So I do want to say thanks to them. Our title sponsor is O'Shea Builders and Construction. They're back again for the second year. Always happy about that. And all sponsors that help us out because in the end, this is a great thing for Springfield, great thing for downtown Springfield, and it's a money raiser because to the people that run it, that with me, that my green team as we call, is a charity because we give a check to the charity. Our Grand Marshal this year is Court and Karen Kahn of the Kahn Hospitality. Their family has had hospitalities here since Springfield has started, I think way back when, a very long time ago. So they're our Grand Marshals, and whenever we have a Grand Marshal, we ask them one question. Who do you want to be this year's charity? That's how we decide who gets the money. We pick a Grand Marshal, and the Grand Marshal is given a blank check this big that's already filled out, and we give them a marker and said, write it in, fill it out. And they picked Heart of Downtown this year. Great. And so, again, not only is the parade enhancing downtown Springfield, they picked the Downtown Springfield organization to benefit from the charity as well. So it's really going to be around and for downtown Springfield. It's going to be a great time. So I invite everybody to come on and thank you for your float last year. Pretty good. And you had tons of people that come with you. I had to look around where you were. Saw you come again. That's great. And so every year, next year, I hope you all can be there. And again, March 14th, 12 noon, Cannon Fire. Enjoy.
Thank you. Appreciate you, sir.
Thanks for what you guys do. It's a fun time.
Ken Pesha.
Happy Women's History Month. Could you imagine if women were as protected as the police? I don't know if you guys have seen the mugshots lately on Sangamon County on Facebook. Those domestic violence charges are starting to pile up. Things are pretty hard out there. And I'm going to follow it up with another question. Could you imagine if black women were as protected as white women? Now, you can examine the evidence all you want, but if you don't understand the point of that question, then you probably need to do more studying. I'm not here to do the work for you. Intellectual labor isn't really of my interest. I'm going to make the note, though, that when we talk about those kind of questions and how we can answer them as a city and a council, I'm going to bring it back to a topic that I brought up multiple times in the last couple months, the Massey Commission recommendations. Have you guys read them? Has everybody taken the time to look through them and really think about what they mean? Because I think that's the kind of thing that when we talk about, like, when we ask the chief about what they're going to do with the Bobcat and all their Bearcat, I don't care. It really doesn't matter. It's the bell's rung, as I said last week. We're not going to get rid of that. And I don't want cops to get hurt either. But I think the bigger way to help with that is to avoid creating dangerous situations, dangerous people, and creating access to that long before we get to the point that we need to roll out an armored carrier into civilian neighborhoods. And I think that's the kind of thing where when we talk about the Massey Commission recommendations, that's when we should really get more specific about it. What exactly are they recommending for the police chief to do that he doesn't necessarily seem reticent, but not necessarily as eager, I would think, if we were really concerned about protecting everyone equally, not just the concern of the officers? Because all I heard throughout that was not ways to make the people safer, just how do we protect our officers on our way to take someone out? So, I mean, I think that's where, with those, they would like to, allow me 1 second, I was on the wrong slide there. Establish a civilian oversight board of Sangamon County for first responder accountability. The commission wants the county board to create an independent board with authority over all public safety and first responder agencies serving Sangamon County residents, including law enforcement, fire departments, EMS providers, 911 dispatch centers, and other publicly chartered emergency service entities. Which leads to the next recommendation that I think is very, very important to the SPD. Establish a coordinated police accountability and transparency framework between the city of Springfield and Sangamon County. This framework would include adopting and funding several measures to establish a coordinated accountability and transparency framework for police misconduct review. Oh, you don't need me to say where I'm going next, do you? Come on. Take the easy win, guys. Let's talk about the Police Civilian Review Commission. That's an easy win, guys. You don't have to do much. Just pressure the mayor to name a couple people to it. My understanding, it's the chief of staff that needs to get it in front of her. Why don't we encourage that? That's an easy win. Easy win, right? Let's talk about real accountability, because I don't think that the police should police themselves. Nor does the Massey Commission. If you don't take my word for it, take the 200-plus people that have participated in the studies, the presentations, the research that the Massey Commission did over the year of its time, and still does. They're still working on getting the 708 Mental Health Board passed. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. They've been holding quite a few public hearings for that. Purple Coalition involved in the next one. So, I mean, I think that's something where you need to recognize that the community is doing the work to help get the recommendations of the Massey Commission passed. And there's more here. I'm not going to spend the next minute talking about it because you guys know how to use Google, right? We can all find it if we want to. And I'm not saying that to be facetious, but I mean, if anything I've said in regards to what we should be doing to create accountability seems out of pocket, none of this is new. This has all been discussed elsewhere. I'm just trying to get you guys to pay more attention to it before it's happening around you. You have the chance to get involved now, to be at the forefront, to make the decisions, to actually get a say in the matter before it happens around you and everybody wonders why you guys still haven't done it. Because this is really strong stuff, guys. Here's the secret. It's being done elsewhere, and guess what? It works. The proof is there. Ask the Massey Commission for it. I went to every single meeting. I went to a good amount of the subcommittees, and I've seen the evidence by people that far exceed anything that I could offer. So take that to heart when I'm trying to give you guys the idea of why these matter so much. Because when we talk about protecting people, it should be the forefront of everyone in this city, not just the people that are armed to the teeth already. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Hart.
Mr. Hart.
Bring you greetings. I'm Chaplain Michael Hart from the East Side American Legion, and I was here a year ago begging for the city to remove a monster tree that's threatening our East Side Springfield home, and nothing was done. And I apologize for not getting back here to follow up on it sooner, but I had a stroke, and my wife's going to help me here. Sometimes I get, I get lost in the sentence, but I still today have difficulty communicating. And anyway, this monster tree is located on city property, reaching from the street to the sidewalk. I mean, it's just, that's all that's there. The sidewalk, and city sidewalk, and the city, and the city curb for out there, and that's all that's in there. And I called and asked to get that removed, and before anybody huge limbs were threatening to crash through the roof and the vehicles. And they basically, when I called first and gave my address on the east side, and I'm really taking that there's a neglect of the east side work, and it's the first time I called somebody, they told me they couldn't do anything about it. They hadn't even seen it. They hadn't seen it. All I gave them was the address on the east side, and they said, "Oh no, we can't do anything about that." These limbs, we've had some smaller limbs. Oh, and I got some pictures here too.
Anybody wants to see these?
These, I can pass these around. Could you give them to some? Give them to.
Where you want me to start? Over here?
Yeah.
There we go.
And
over our porch. These limbs are falling on the car, in the yard,
and on the
porch,
on the house.
on the house.
None of the real big. If one of the big ones would fall, it'd smash the house, the front of the house. I'd be, I guess, homeless. So that's the kind of where we're at there.
But that's not the only damage. If they're not just falling on the roof and on the car. So we just recently lost the antenna off the car from the last one that fell. But they are also cracking across the yard and onto the porch, and put a crack in the side of the porch that leads all the way under the house.
Yeah, there's a taproot going out there.
And
the only, I just want to thank the handicap services. You know, they were putting me off, saying they couldn't do anything, come back in a couple of years or something. And but the handicap services, I got with them because we have, it's got to be handicap accessible, and it tore up. It just smashed the sidewalk. And anyway, I told the handicap about it, And they said, oh, we'll take that. And they were out there the next day and fix that sidewalk. It was all smashed in one day, so I wish I'd taken a name there to thank them. But also a taproot from the house cracked out. Concrete front porch is concrete, and it's got it bent and cracked all the way through, and it was a taproot from the tree cracked out the concrete from a porch land, tipping the whole house. You know, it's back like that. You know, like to put a cake in the oven. This wide on this side and that wide on that side. It's just destroying the house. And I sure want to thank most of all my aldermen, Sean Gregory, who made a trip out there to see it and to verify. You can verify that these things I'm telling you are true. You can see them in the pictures. Not really the greatest photographers there, but thank you. I'd like to have you as a witness.
Mr. Hart, I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off because your time is up. However, if you could, our director's in the back. I know I have been by there. I know he has been by there himself, and he's our director. So if there's anything to be done with the tree, he's going to check it out. I know Mr. Hamill has looked at it as well. We will continue to work on what we can do with with that particular tree. But I want you to work with our director, and I'll follow up with you. Okay? No problem.
The one
No
thing
problem.
I'm certain if we just
Mr. Hart.
give it to them,
Mr. Hart.
they're not going to do anything with it.
I hear you. I hear you. Talk to that guy back there.
They gotta
Mr.
be-
Fuchs, raise your hand. See,
They're going to have to be told to do it, or they're just not going to do it.
excuse me. I need you to talk to him.
Behind you.
Behind you.
Guy behind you.
Behind you.
The guy behind you.
Over there.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, that's one that came out.
I'm going to follow up with you, mister. Your time's up. I need you to talk to them, and I'm going to follow up with you. All right? I got you.
I'm not hearing too well. Tell me what they're saying.
Just talk to the director back there, Mr. Hart. I got you.
He has your pictures too.
Yes.
I want to see you personally.
Ready? Cindy Cantwell.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
First, I'd like to thank my alderwoman, Erin Conley, for helping facilitate the recent meeting with our new neighborhood police officer, Trevor.
Good guy.
I appreciated the opportunity to connect directly and discuss concerns of the area. I also appreciate the plan to install the additional lighting near the apartments. Increased lighting should improve visibility and safety for the residents in the neighborhood. I'd also like to thank Public Works for clearing the street drains on Lincoln today before the storms. That low point at Lincoln and Mossman tends to flood when the debris builds up, and their attention to it is very much appreciated by those of us who live there. Several agencies have been responsive in providing information as I have been trying to better understand the situation surrounding these properties, and I appreciate the efforts. Out of concern for the neighborhood safety, I had also submitted a FOIA request for the police response records related to the properties, and I received those today, and I'd like to thank the clerk's office. My goal is simply to better understand what has been occurring over time so that we can all be working from the same information going forward. While walking around the property recently, I did see the faded posted violation notice on the building from the city. I also observed that there was no postings from the state. However, the property itself does remain accessible from multiple sides, and as Erin explained earlier today, notice has been sent that she's told me that she has contacted the proper department, and I thank you again for that. Given the environmental concerns that have been associated with the site, I would welcome clarification from the appropriate agency so the residents can better understand the current status of the property. Again, I appreciate the steps that have been taken so far, and I look forward to continuing to work together to ensure the safety of the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cindy.
James Johnson. Robert Frazier.
I asked to speak on the police bravely vehicle. So why I didn't get caught up doing that?
You didn't, it's not on your request.
Oh, it's not?
It just says you want to talk about you didn't say you wanted to address the ordinance.
Oh, yeah, I did. I told the guy on the phone, there was a male. I didn't have my normal guy.
James,
I should have known.
you can still talk about it. It's on.
No, Dan already voted, but I am going to say something because of the stuff that I did here. You know, and I hear people talking about, you know, and I'm glad, let me back up, Mr. Williams, Alderman
Address
Williams.
the chair. Address the chair.
No.
You got to address the chair, James. It's just the rules.
I'm
It's
pointing
just
out
the
his
rules.
name because what he said.
But just address me.
It's not a question for you, Sean, but Mr. Williams brought up a point about what the county did, and I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to bring that up. That was an issue in the years past. And for everyone who wants to say about this vehicle and that it protects the community and so on, it's one thing to see that vehicle when it's sitting out and kids can play on it. But it's another thing to see that vehicle when there's 10, 12 guys with machine guns walking behind it and jumping off. I don't think you're going to have that same feeling. I mean, look at the chair, so you'll be happy.
It's absolutely.
You're not going to feel the same way about that. That machine, that vehicle is an intimidating vehicle. And if you ain't never known anybody to be killed in a hostage situation, you really ain't going to understand. And I can guarantee you, I don't think there's nobody in this horseshoe that knows anybody that didn't survive, but I do. So am I in favor of vehicles like that and so on? No. You know what I am in favor of? It's communication with the public and those police officers and the ones who don't really have the attitude that it takes to be a police officer. And yeah, Sean, you're right. We all are tired of the shootings. I heard the latest one. But until we start putting money into education instead of into just them, we're going to keep dealing with the same problems. Because we're going to spend, you guys had 2 or 3 different ordinances up there with that police department. With that. Now you tell me something, chairperson, how many of them officers in them uniforms been killed in the last, from somebody shooting at them? And I'll wait for an answer. Because I don't remember the last time any officer in this county or in this city has died from the line of duty from somebody shooting at them. Now, I could be wrong, so stop me and correct me if I'm wrong. But we'll spend all that money to protect them. But we ain't going to protect our community? You know, is that the only thing that's going to protect our community? That's not the answer. They do work with the county. They do work with the state. How come they can't work with the state and use their vehicle when they need it? He only uses it 18 to 25 times a year. You do the math and figure out how many times that thing being used. Now, granted, it could be used, but is it favorable for our community? Everybody don't want to see that thing coming. I don't want to see it coming because I know how it's being used. For a lot of people, it's threatening. I don't know where y'all get that it makes the community feel safe. You know what makes the community feel safe? Is people doing their job and doing it correctly. Police getting along with the citizens, black or brown or white. We're all on a threat out here, but we can be. So how about we put them in some training and learn how to deal with some of us and how to talk to us? Because people are getting tired of the ones that don't know how to talk to us. And that one day it will revolt.
Robert Frazier.
Good evening, City Council, residents watching, council member. I'm just going to skip some lines here. The issue before us is not whether the city recognizes the challenges in our poor and underserved communities. The city has acknowledged that these challenges exist. We also see these same realities in parts of Springfield, particularly in wards 2 and 3, where poverty has become concentrated, where opportunity has been eliminated for years. So the question is not whether it's real or not. The real question is, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to solve this? For many years, the approach has been to bring solutions to the struggling neighborhoods. We bring people from the outside consultants, outside programs, outside organizations, and outside workers, meaning outside of the community, Ward 2, Ward 3, where we have these deficits. For many years, those efforts are usually well-intended, but they just never work. The reality is that when the solutions are built primarily from the outside, much of the investment ends up following out of the community instead of strengthening the community itself. That is the concern of us, myself included. If we really truly want to stabilize our neighborhoods and that we have experienced long periods of disinvestment, we must be thinking differently about how our resources move. We must start investing directly in the people who live there. Because when the people in those neighborhoods become workers, they become mentors, service providers, and leaders to solve the problems, something powerful begins to happen. The money stays local, the experience stays local, the solutions are shaped by the people who actually understand the day-to-day realities of their community. Now, I also understand that the city faces real structural challenges when they're trying to address these issues. Springfield is a strong union community. Prevailing wages standards apply to many public projects. And then those standards exist for good reasons. But they can also be difficult for traditional municipal programs to create flexible service sector opportunities that operate directly inside the neighborhoods. That creates a gap. Programs like Clean Slate have created a space where people come together, connect, share information, build confidence, and beginning finding solutions for themselves. Sometimes the entry point seems something simple many people take for granted, like clean clothes. But once people walk through the door, something more important begins to happen. Conversation starts, guidance happens, and encouragement, and people begin to see opportunity again. It is always cheaper to build stability than to manage crisis. Investing in the people, therefore, problems escalate, reduces long-term strain on emergency services, public safety, social services, and cities must fund that at a higher cost. In other words, building community capacity is not only good It is a good financial stewardship, in which we really be thinking about tonight is community capacity. And building workers from within communities can provide mentorships, guidance, stability, and opportunities in the long terms. Jobs are created, skills are developed, competence grows. This is how communities begin to rebuild. If we continue to treat poverty as something that we must be managed, the cycle will continue. And I'll end with this. The strongest way to rebuild struggling community is not to deliver solutions to them. It is to build the people within them to lead and provide and find solutions for themselves. Thank you.
Appreciate you, sir.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I'll take a motion.
Second.
Been moved and second for adjournment. All in favor?